Hey guys, how's it going? It's Etanyos here. Welcome to episode number 2 of this NHL 24 Chicago Blackhawks franchise mode here on my channel. Today we are going to be getting into the 2023-24 offseason, hitting the 2024 NHL Entry Draft, and then of course getting through the contracts and re-signing phase and then starting the next season, kind of like ending off at the beginning of the next season. So let's jump into the comments because last episode there were quite a few based on the fact that it got tons of views. So the first comment here came from Philippe LeBlanc, saying, I think the obvious move is going for Celebrini. He's better overall than Yzerman, and Celebrini and Bedard together would be a perfect fit. It wouldn't take an incredible amount of value. You have tons of picks to trade. So that is a great comment. Absolutely something we are going to look to do at the draft here. Robert Weber said, love the spreadsheet for team building, especially Chicago, who builds through their draft, adds complementary pieces once the core of the team is in place. Reasons they have been so successful since the hard salary cap was introduced in 2005. Etanyos is the right guy to do it. Hype for the series, for how the series plays out. Thanks, Robert. Love that comment. That's a great comment. Dylan Rude said, thanks for being in Chicago. Big fan, and this game is unreal. How did they make the playoffs? Because we made the playoffs somehow last episode, but fortunately we were able to still cheese the draft lottery and end up somehow getting the second overall pick. So we're gonna try to actually trade up here still. The Real Divinity said trade up for Brooks and or even the first overall pick. Celebrini is a beast in real life. Also, what a fluke. Should have lost more games, but that's EA, I guess. So totally the case there. But we're probably going to look to grab Celebrini and Brooks. The last comment here was asking why we weren't using the newest rosters where Perry isn't on the team anymore, and it was just because we wanted the created players in place, obviously guys that have actually been drafted by Chicago. Like, as you can see here with progress reports, somehow Radish and Kurashev ended up being they're going to be top pieces now, which is hilarious in my opinion because they just, they shouldn't have really been crazy good, but they actually had really good seasons, like 75 points from Taylor Radish. Come on now. And the same with 68 points for Kurashev as a 24-year-old. That's hilariously good. So we had some things like that, but it's really more so for the guys where are they? Guys like Frank Nazar and, Drew Comesso and Oliver Moore, those guys. Those are the reasons why we weren't playing with the most up-to-date rosters when we started this franchise mode, but it's all good. We'll try to clean it up as best as we can. But let's get to the draft. There's a couple moves I want to make, and of course we are going to kind of go back and forth between the spreadsheet here too, just before we actually jump into the draft. Because that is one thing that we need to look at here. So just before we jump into the draft, let me just go and show you guys the spreadsheet here again. Okay, guys, so when we're looking at this team, the other thing we need to remember before we actually jump into this draft is that we're looking for a left-wing power forward player, as well as probably a sniper or playmaker type player here as well. So those are the two pieces that we're still kind of in search for, but at the same time, if we don't get a power forward, if we end up with Celebrini on the left wing instead, that's not the worst thing ever. We can make that work. So that's just something to keep in mind when we actually jump into the draft here. Okay, so as we get to it, the first trade and deal we're actually going to look to make is with the St. Louis Blues because, of course, they've got the first overall pick. So we're going to try to just pick swap plus a couple assets here. And if we can do that, I think that's going to be the right move. So let's get to it. So really all we're looking to grab is the first overall pick. That's it. Nothing else. Just that pick. We're going to be trying to trade that second overall pick, and then we're going to have to throw other assets in there too. So I'm kind of thinking, what do we want to do? Probably these second round picks that aren't ours, so the Carolina and Dallas picks, and then, we can try that, see if that goes through. Okay, it does not, so who's matching the block? I don't want to trade Del Mastro because he is a good player. The only thing is we already have a lot of left-handed defensemen. I'm already considering moving Korchinski over to the right side as a left-handed offensive defenseman. But the fact that we also have Vlasic and that we also have a bunch of other guys down on the bottom end of this team, as far as Isaac Phillips, Wyatt Kaiser, there's a lot of them, so I think Del Mastro is actually a piece we could part with. I know some of you Chicago fans are probably going to rip me to shreds for this trade, but really, I know we're giving up a lot of assets, but we want Macklin Celebrini. So there you go. All right, we get Celebrini, or we're going to be getting Celebrini with that move. And then apart from that, we want to trade for probably the 10th overall pick as well, because right now we've got some decent picks, but we've got New Jersey at pick 10. And Jersey's the team that we probably could get a pick off of. So obviously they've got some good pieces there in New Jersey, but at the same time, I don't think we're going to be doing this trade without doing like some kind of salary retention type deal. So yeah, let's go Andre Palat, because, you know, Palat could still be good for another year or two. He's 33, but like he's actually a pretty decent player. So let's try that in exchange for I'm okay to part with pick number 31. I mean, if we can get 14, 19, and then 10 in there as well, like that would be amazing. But they're going to need more assets, obviously, apart from the 31st overall pick. So I'm thinking we go Connor Murphy, we could do. We need some more value than that. Can we do Ryan Donato too? Is that enough? I would love to see that deal go through. Okay, it doesn't. Let's try retaining $1 million off of Connor Murphy's contract. I would be okay with that. Because then, yeah, then that way the Devils are getting two solid pieces back. They're getting a defenseman and a forward in exchange for just one forward that's cost the same as both, and then it's actually $1 million less. So let's do that, and that does go through. Perfect. All right, I think that's all we're gonna do for trades at this point now. Let me just call a timeout quickly, because you look at our pick options and how many different pieces we have to trade away, or not trade away, that pieces that we have to pick with. Like we have what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 picks in the first draft, 4 first rounders, 5 picks in the next 2 rounds after that. Like that's amazing. So yeah, let's get to it. Let's get rolling on these picks. I think I know exactly who we're gonna get now that I'm looking at the draft class. And yeah, we won't end up getting a guy like, you know, Levchnov or Silyev or Dickinson probably, but Caden Lindstrom's a potential option on the board. Of course, Corey Brooks is probably the piece we want to bring in the most. I find it funny that Shock and Awe ends up on there, even though he's more than likely a defensive defenseman. But we could also look at a guy like Tarek Parashek, or yeah, Parashek's probably the last player we'll really look at there. We could get like Muse, or who else is like a short ETA? Yeah, Kvasha doesn't really fit the system either. So many shoot and pinch kind of guys. We don't have a Branzig Nygaard scouting report. That's okay. I think we are going to take, we're going to take Emil Vinny too here coming up, but yeah, okay. I think I know how this is going to go. We'll see. Obviously, some picks will probably vary a little bit, but we're going to start off with the Macklin Celebrini pick. So yeah, with the first overall pick in back-to-back years, the Chicago Blackhawks, proud to select from, it would have actually been University of Boston, I believe. Or sorry, from Boston College of the NCAA, Macklin Celebrini. And he's 80 overall. Ooh, okay. And he's got X Factors, of course. I mean, this is my created version of Macklin Celebrini, but him going first overall to the Blackhawks is going to be scary with Connor Bedard. This is going to be so fun. Like, the fact that we get 2 first overall picks back-to-back is amazing. Cole Yzerman does turn into that second overall pick. Understandable, but a significantly lower end. Oh my goodness. Oscar Tarnstrom is 83. Did we mess up? I don't think so. Like, yeah, he's a sniper and would have been a great piece, but we needed the elite playmaker to go with Bedard, so I'm not actually upset about that. Demidov goes 4th, okay, and then 5th is Berkeley Catton. All right, not a bad top 5, but yeah, Tarnstrom might actually be the steal of the draft, 3rd overall. So Wow. Okay, let's sim over to pick number 10. And I was really hoping Lindstrom would be on the board, and then we could just trade for pick 11 maybe, but that doesn't end up being the case, so that's unfortunate, but we can make it work still. So we're not going to take Kiviaru, even though he does seem like a pretty solid option. I think we are going to go with Corey Brooks here instead at 10th overall. So, you know, that in exchange for Connor Murphy, Ryan Donato, and the 31st overall pick. Corey Brooks looks solid. Oh my goodness, yeah. Number 91. Where's number 91? So that's going to be fun. And then, yeah, just a bit of a physical beast there. 6'2", 216. He's going to pair up quite nicely with Kevin Korchinski. How do these other picks fall in between? Okay, so we go Kiviaru, Howe, and then a Ginla. All right. Tija Ginla goes 13th to San Jose. All right, so with the 14th overall pick, I think, yeah, we're going to go with Tarek Parashek. Very good player, 71.71 games in the dub, which is not an easy feat to pull off, but yeah, we'll take him, and he'll slot in on that second line right wing quite nicely. Even he could go left wing potentially too. But yeah, another very good player that we're able to acquire in this first draft. Clark Caswell goes to the Ducks 15th overall. That's crazy. Zane Perrick, very good pick there for Philadelphia. I honestly was thinking we might end up drafting him if he was still available, but he was not. So, why is Ryder Ritchie Swedish? Can somebody enlighten me on that? I don't actually know why he's Swedish, but okay. Let's see, we've got a couple right wingers already. We do have Frank Nazar in the system too, so it's not necessarily guaranteed that we need another right winger, but the right wingers are kind of the main option here as to what's available to us. I mean, we could go with another right D-man. Henry Muse might actually not be a bad option either. Do we want to do that? Muse or... I'm torn here. It's either Muse or Helenius, because Consta Helenius looks really good too. I'm kind of torn on this. I know, well, Muse isn't necessarily a pinch and shoot. He's more than likely a pinch and shoot, but not necessarily. I'm going to go with Muse just because we haven't taken... I don't know, we have taken one defenseman, but I'd rather do two right side D-men because those are hard to come by. And he's 72 rated. We gotta be happy with that. So yeah, I'm okay with that pick. Okay, so we go with Henry Muse with the 19th overall pick. I'm quite happy with that, and then we'll go over to pick 34 here. Second pick of the second round. But let's see who else was really decent in here. Okay, so Richie was 70 rated, Hemming was 70 rated, Greenway. Okay, Helenius goes to the Stars. Ooh, that could be a steal of a pick for them. Johansson was pretty good too at 70 overall, but yeah, Helenius is going to be a good player too, obviously. There's a lot of solid talent in this draft so far. So for our next pick, we're going to go, we could pick more potential like 2-year ETA players, but I'm going to go just a little ways off the board, take a guy that's going to take probably 3 years to develop in Emil Vinny. And he's the first elite goalie in this draft. He's 64 rated. Okay, so not crazy good, but still good size at 6'2". Is he 6'2"? Yeah, 6'2", 193. Yeah, that's great size and a very value pick in the second round. So we're up to pick 51 now. Poirier, Vinanen. Yeah, so we just miss out on quite a few really good players there. Wow, Brandzik Nygaard was really good too, but we didn't have a scouting report on him. Yeah, okay, that's pretty much what I expected up to this point. So With the next pick, I think we should go with Taylor Reasoner because there's not like a whole lot of other top 6 kind of guys. We could go with Adam Jacko too, actually. Let's see, what have we picked so far? Yeah, so I would say it really does come down to either Jacko or Reasoner. I think we're going to go with Reasoner just because he's power forward, and power forward is going to sit a little bit nicer in our like middle 6, bottom 6 kind of area. Potentially. We could also go with... Oh, this is tough now. Now, let's go with Adam Jacko, actually. I know, is he 3-year ETA? Yeah, he is, so... Foot speed, offensive instincts, hard wrist shot, and he's 6'5". Yeah, let's go with Adam Jacko. And okay, 65 rated, so nothing crazy, but still a good pick there. Okay, so we'll simulate over to pick 61 now. And let's see, how good was Reasoner? Okay, Reasoner was 66 rated, so 1 rating overall difference. We get a sniper instead of a power forward, which I'm okay with in the like kind of middle 6, bottom 6 region where Jacko is likely going to develop to. But then after that, see, we could go with Muzzin, but I think this is where we're actually going to go off the board. We're not going to take Kirsch either. We're going to go with Quinn Keeler. High elite goalie, potentially the future of the Blackhawks crease as well. So 2 elite goalies in this draft, more than enough. We don't need to spend any more picks on goalies because that's 2 goalies in the second round. One of them being high elite, one of them being medium elite. But again, the rating and overall difference is kind of the only change there between those picks. And yeah, I am really excited to see if Keeler will develop into a franchise player or not. So on to the next pick here, and with the next pick, we could go with Muzzin. Again, we don't need to spend more picks on goalies. I'm quite happy with the goaltending situation currently. So let's see, I think we have to go with Nicholas Stewart at this point. Again, another right-handed defenseman. We're trying to build up that side because Chicago's got a lot of left-handed defensemen, so we'll see if Nicholas Stewart can actually become something special or not. Potentially could wear number 67, which is what we picked him with, the number we picked him with. Muzzin goes to the Ducks, so the Ducks get a couple elite players in this draft. That's really cool to see. So Anaheim's going to be, again, one of our direct rivals for the prospect race. And then, okay. We get a potential opportunity to take Kirsch kind of not off the board necessarily, but probably wouldn't be a bad idea to take him either. Because the next player after that would be Mitchell Sawyer. Okay, so with the next pick, even though I am tempted to take Christian Kirsch, because I think he's going to be a good goalie in the future and could potentially fill the backup role this team's going to need, I think we're going to go with a power forward here instead in Mitchell Sawyer. He's not huge, he's only 6'1", but he's 205 pounds, so fairly solidly built player there. Again, another guy that could slot into that middle 6 kind of role on this team in the future. Obviously, he's not going to be a top talent for a late 3rd round pick, but we'll take it. And then as far as the 4th round goes, let's see, obviously Atkinson was good, but he's a little bit small as well. Apart from that, wow, yeah, the 4th round had like nobody. And yeah, the 3rd round, again, could have been better, but we got a couple decent picks there. Kirsch ends up going to Winnipeg, so Winnipeg's got a good goalie there for the future. And then with our next pick here at 150, we're going to take Ryder Larson, a low elite sniping center. 49 rated, so nothing crazy, but again, could be a potential steal for this team if he actually develops into something. And then for our 7th round pick, sixth round pick at 179. Let's just go back, see if we missed a lot or not. I mean, yeah, guys like Skylar Blair could be good players, but yeah, I'm pretty happy with that Larson pick, because really, it's hard to find later round steals in this game in general, so the fact that we got one good one there, I'm not going to complain. Alright, and apart from most of these bottom 6 kind of picks here, I think we're just going to go way off the board, find the next top 9 kind of guy that we can, if they exist. Do they exist? Apparently not. There we go. Okay, so let's go with Leonard, goodness gracious, horrible naming there. Leonard Schoenmaker. Yeah, sure, why not? Right wing grinder, let's go for it. And he is a 48 rated player. All right, not bad. Lots of room for development and growth over the next 5 years or so. And how does the rest of the 6th round look? Nothing, really. Like, literally medium 7th defenseman and like a hybrid low starting goalie there. All right. And I will slowly and brutally simulate out the last 31 of these 32 picks so you guys can see what else got picked, and then we'll conclude the draft. Alright, so apart from this very last pick for the Canucks, he was all bottom 6th and medium 7th defenseman here in this last round. So yeah, we didn't really miss out on anything there, and I am super happy with how that draft went. So there's your massive prospect list for the Chicago Blackhawks in our first draft. So I'll update the spreadsheet quickly, and then I can show you guys just how big of a difference we're looking at just after draft number 1. I'm trying to think of who else actually had a really good draft. The only other team I can think is maybe the Anaheim Ducks, and even then they just got Muzzin and Caswell pretty much. Like, nobody had as big of a prospect haul as we did. So this team, just after this draft, like, our first 5 picks there are all pretty much NHL locks. Our first 4 picks for sure are NHL locks, and then we have potential in guys like Keeler, Stewart, Sawyer, Larson, even Schoenmaker, but Schoenmaker is probably the least likely out of that entire list. The rest of the list is like, okay, at some point these guys are going to be playing in the NHL, even if it's not for the Blackhawks necessarily. What a first draft. So after that first draft, this is how the team's shaping up. So we got Celebrini in there, we got Tarek Parashak in there, we got Adam Jekyll. I'm only putting the guys that I'm guaranteed just like expecting to make the league within the next couple of seasons, like 2 to 3 years. Like guys like Sawyer or Stewart or Keeler aren't going to be in there just yet. I did put Emil Vinny in there because I'm pretty confident he's going to make the league in 3 years. Corey Brooks should be in the team as soon as next season. Henry Muse should be in there within 1 year. Jekko probably 2, Parashak probably 2, Celebrini will be there next year for sure. And I think we're going to go 17 for him because I do believe that is a freed up number. Brooks, probably 91. I don't know what Henry Muse is going to get yet. The reason I'm not sure on Muse is because Oliver Moore already has 11. Oliver Moore could also be number 41. He could also be number 21. So maybe we give Muse number 11 because there's more options for Oliver Moore. That's the only thought process I'm kind of following there. But yeah, just based on this first draft, I'm really happy with where we're at. So, all right, let's get to the re-signing phase here. Obviously, we are still sellers, but we do have a couple added pieces now too. Guys that have the potential to, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Guys that have the potential trade value that we were looking for. Guys like Johnson, guys like Taylor Radish that I'm not expecting to keep around long-term necessarily. But yeah, like we've got a couple guys that just turned out to be way better than I was expecting them to be. So, all right, let's get to the re-signing phase. We had a couple scouts we had to re-sign there, but that is all good. That's fine and dandy because those are the scouts that are getting us picks like, who's the guy we just drafted in the 5th round? Blanking on his name. So we get guys like Larson, in the 5th round, and they're just steals, right? Is these scouts right here. Can never give enough credit to the scouts because they are so valued as far as how this team and how this rebuild's going to go. How much does Taylor Radish want? Ooh, $7 million. That's a little steep. Okay, that's more than a little steep. That is extremely steep for a 1-year 75-point season. Yeah, you got to play with Bedsy the whole year. Of course you're going to put up that many points. Bedsy had 88 points as a rookie. Of course you're going to be looking at a decent, like, quite literally, I remember when Bedard first got drafted to Chicago, somebody was like, Taylor Radish 90-point season. I'm like, well, he did 51 here, so he wants to sign with us. We'll try to get him 2 years at 7.2. Tyler Johnson hopefully can be a little cheaper. 2 years at 3.7 is a little bit more realistic. I know this team didn't do spectacular, but like certain guys like Alex Vlasic, 5.5 million is actually a really good price point for him. Most of these guys, they're going to be okay, right? Like, they're not going to be anything crazy on the contract side of things. Like Reichel for 5 mil is pretty good. So let's go do a couple big contracts here for the young guns. Those are the only contracts I really write in here. Okay, so the first one we'll do is Alex Vlasic. He's going to be 5.5 million, probably a little bit less than that, but not much. So 4.7 million about. That's honestly a really good contract for Alex Vlasic because he's going to be around for a long time. So, yeah, okay. 4.7 million, boom, lock that one in. That's going to come back as a steal of a deal eventually. It's going to take a little bit of time, but... And then Lucas Reichel would be 4.275 million about. Again, not bad at all. I know it's an overpayment right now, but once he develops into, like, what are we looking at? As a top 6 two-way forward, I'm expecting him to hit about an 86, 87 overall. Maybe not at his peak, but towards his prime. So yeah, again, at that price, that's a really good price. So Nick Foligno, give him 2 mil for the next 2 years. We've got Bedsy and Celebrini that we'll have to pay eventually, but yeah, Celebrini's coming into this team hot. Like, he's going to be the next player that Chicago really... He's going to be... Well, I was going to say, like, our Patrick Kane or Jonathan Toews. We don't have a Jonathan Toews on this team. We have a Connor Bedard, and then we have a Macklin Celebrini. So the Bedsy Selly line is going to be pretty nasty in the future, and then whoever gets to play with that line, whether it actually be Frank Nazar or I don't know who it's going to be exactly, right? Like, it could be a handful of different guys. We're literally just waiting on who's going to develop and who's not. So Isaac Phillips, another contract where, 1.2 million, not a steep price at all. We'll do that one for sure. Okay, so 1.2 million there is really good. Philip Roos, a little bit older than Phillips, like Isaac Phillips, so that's why he's not getting as long-term a deal. Frank Nazar will go... Let's go 2 years at 9.75 million, just to let him kind of peak on his development and become the playmaker we want him to be. Because again, we're still waiting on him to actually turn into something good. So he's not bad, but he's going to take a little bit more time. Cini, I understand you don't want to play for us, so you can just go for a walk out the door to free agency. Jared Tenorti, sure, sign him up. He's a big D. Oliver Moore will go 2 years, 9.75 million again. Give those guys some incentive to play towards as far as trying to become better, earn more money as they get better. So yeah, that is the goal. That is what we're aiming for here. And then Cole Gutman or Goal Gutman, as lots of people call him when he actually scores for Chicago. We'll get most of these guys re-signed here too. Obviously, we're pretty close to a max capacity roster at this point. So we'll see if anybody doesn't sign, because that could very well happen too. And yeah, guys like Parashek and Muse are going to take another year or two to develop. Same with, Colton Dock. He's in the system, but he should be good eventually. Stjernborg will sign as well. Crevier probably should be in the team, should be better, but he's not, because I never actually bumped his rating up. And then, of course, we have to sign Marcel, because it's Marcel. He's a Chicago Blackhawks legend. What would we be doing if we didn't sign him? I'd be a horrible GM at that point. Okay, we'll go 1.7 mil for what's his face? For Mrazek, and then Kamesso's probably going to be coming into the team here pretty soon. I don't think we're going to hold him out for too much longer because he's 79 rated to 21 already. I don't know why it says undrafted when it's drafted by. It should say Chicago there. It doesn't, but that's just the game for you. So, and then again, we got those two elite guys down below. Kamesso very well could become our backup goaltender long term. So, all right, I think we're ready to advance today. Tons of contracts got thrown out there and offered, but we only signed a handful of the long-term guys to long-term deals, which I am okay with. And let's see if all those deals start to go through or not. Okay, so Johnson already rejects. That's great. Same with Tenorti. Who else? Lucas Reichel. We're going to have to pay Reichel more than $4.275 million. Isaac Phillips signed the $1.2 million deal for the next 8 seasons. That's awesome. Celebrini joins. Perfect. Sorry, Yarvi didn't sign it. Okay. So we got most of those deals. We did get Alex Vlasic at 4.7. So we'll go... Let's go 4.55 million. I'm okay with that price point for Reichel. And then we do want to re-sign Tyler Johnston too. I'm going to go 2 years, 4.25 million for Johnson. And perfect. All right, nice and easy. Nothing too crazy there. Taylor Radish getting 7.2 is crazy because he's not a player I really expected to do anything crazy, and then he's been really good so far. So, yeah, we'll probably be keeping... We won't be keeping Kurashev with Bedard, even though that line did actually seem to work fairly well. But, yeah, we will make 1 or 2 free agent signings just to fill cap space more than anything, and then we will trade those players once we get part of the way through the season. So, yeah, let's sim to free agency at this point. I think we're ready to go. Maybe we should grab Jameson Reese just because we got a few roster spaces left here. Philip Kurashev is going to be a big contract coming up. We're going to have to pay out on that one. So yeah, let's do Jameson Reese. He's going to be a 2-year deal. All right, perfect. Might as well sign Crevier at this point because a lot of other guys don't really want to stay here and play, so might as well keep the ones that do. And all right, that is that, I guess. We're ready to go into free agency, and we'll see what's available. Okay. So yeah, that's a pretty fair trade block, I think. I don't think too many teams are really going to be making moves for those players, but you never know. There's 1 or 2 decent contracts in there. Most of them are overpaid, but if we brought back Showtime Patty Kane, as much as I would love to do this for you guys, I actually think it would backfire. Simply because he's 90 rated. We would end up winning a whole bunch with him. That's the one thing, is I'm still trying to get this team to lose and end up with like a bottom 5 pick most years for the next 2 or 3 seasons. So I think it would be counterintuitive to actually go out and get Patrick Kane. Same thing with goalies. Like, we don't want to go too good on the skill level here for these guys. Just for that exact same reason. We could try to bring back Marc-Andre Fleury. He was actually really good in Chicago when he was here for a little bit, and then he got traded off to Minnesota. Yeah, okay, probably not. That's probably not the move. So maybe we bring back Kane, but is it just on like a 1-year crazy huge deal, like a $12 million contract or something like that? Yeah, let's bring him back. Go like $15 million. I do think this is going to be a counterintuitive kind of move, because I do get the feeling that by doing this, Patrick Kane's actually going to help Connor Bedard become an extremely good player. I don't know if we offer him that much money, though. Let's go 1 year at $10 million. 1 year, $10 million. I don't see why he wouldn't sign that. All right, so in spending the $10 million on Patrick Kane for 1 year, we're also going to be looking at getting probably 2 more pieces. They're not going to be anything crazy, but they're going to be good pieces as far as I'm thinking. Brett Pesce's one of the options that we go with there. Offer him slightly shorter term, go like 4 years, because then he's a good trade piece. And offer him about $5.75 million for those next 4 years, and then that takes him until 33. I think that's a fair deal. And again, these are trade piece kind of signings. That's what we're doing them for. And we're absolutely going to be telling these players, hey, we're signing you for this reason. It's so that you can go out there, be a good player, but also bring us back some value in a potential trade once our team starts losing, because our team's actually going to be good, or our team's actually going to be losing now that we have good players in the system. So that is unfortunately how it's going to work here, probably. So let's see. We've spent a combined total of about 15 million out of the 27. So then for the last deal, I think we just go with whoever really we can find an option for, whether that be Josh Bailey or I don't know who else. Okay, so that is going to be it for our free agent signings. We'll slap those 3 deals together, and that'll pretty much be it here. We'll advance a couple days, see if we actually get all of those sign-ins. Then we'll do a Kurashev extension and maybe one other option or one other contract, and then that will be it for this video. So the Ducks offer a 2nd and a 4th for Foligno and Dickinson. No thank you. I would have taken that, but I just don't really see the need for it. So we get Jeff Carter, no questions asked. Interesting trade offer from the Abs, but again, we're not quite going to take that yet. So we get Pesce, and we get Kane. Perfect. All right. So that is it for that. We're still a seller, even with Patty Kane on this team. But the whole point of having Patty Kane on this team is to boost Bedard, turn him into a high franchise player eventually. That is the goal. We'll see if it actually happens or not, but that is what we're planning on doing with this move, at least. And then we got Kurashev here, who's going to need a big fat extension. Oh, 7.5 Tillies. That's not quite going to work. I mean, it would be a $6.35 million deal. Is that overpaying him? More than likely. But Kurashev also just had a huge season. And 6.35 really isn't crazy considering we have $33 million worth of additional extension dollars to hand out. So yeah, this should be good. I'm actually really excited to get Celebrini on with a guy like Kane or somebody like that. It's gonna be good. So all right, let's advance a couple more days. Just make sure that Kurashev deal goes through. I get the feeling it might not. A top-ranked team, hey? We're top-ranked. Maybe in sales. We're a seller, absolutely. But Okay, all right. I can take top ranked. Not only that, but there is not a good chance. I would say there's a slim chance that Kurashev's our next captain. Bedard's probably our next captain, but yeah, I'm liking where we're at after year one. The fact that we pulled Patty Kane in as a free agent signing is hilarious, and hopefully will translate to some success. But yeah, we're just going to sim to the next season now, and we'll see how the upcoming draft class is looking. What is the point of this trade? I don't get it. Like, we're simming to the next season here, but like Bobrovsky for 2 years at $10 million and a second round pick, so we'd be getting a better pick and a better goalie in exchange for Johnson, Palat, which combined for $10 million a year for the next 2 years anyways. Maybe they look at those two pieces and go, oh, they're easier to move because they're half the price of Bobrovsky. I guess so, but does this make sense? Potentially. It could potentially make sense for both teams here. How good's Bob? 86? Do we dare? Yeah, I think so. I think we dare on this trade. Reason being is because why not? We're getting a second, like the second round pick is the whole reason I want to do this deal. All right, so in trading up a year, getting an extra pick from Florida, and only really giving up 2 depth piece kind of players, I'm okay with that. We're not going to do a trade there that's just 1 pick kind of difference. Also, just before we actually jump into the next season here, I do want to just jump on the player editor and just introduce you guys to all of our new rookies, because there's quite a few of them in here that are actually going to be playing this year. First one, obviously, being Macklin Celebrini. And the only thing I think I'm going to change on Celebrini here, because he's almost entirely accurate, the only thing I'm going to change on here that I've noticed at least is that he actually plays with a jet speed. So we'll update that. Unless there's another jet speed in here, which there might be. Let's go with that one. That one looks sleek. No, actually, he's going to go. Yeah, we're going to go with that one. So that's accurate on Celebrini. I think the only other thing we might do is extend his handle a little bit. Yeah, okay, that looks better. And then I'm pretty sure with gloves too, he just wears like the regular Bowers, like either the Supremes or the Vapors. Probably the Vapors, honestly. Yeah, okay. And that is it for Celebrini. He does have some X factors on here already, because that's kind of just how I've designed him. No superstar, or sorry, no zone ability yet, because he is only 18. But yeah, apart from that, that's it for Macklin Celebrini. I'm super excited to see what he can do on this team. Might not be a great start to his rookie campaign, but that is all good. And then, of course, we got Corey Brooks here, too. Where's number 91 as a defenseman? So that's interesting. But let's see how he's shaping up. All right. Looks like a pretty mean, tough guy. I like to kind of semi-match the equipment to the actual team that we're using. Like, what's the point of having the neon skates when you can have red matching skates, right? Like that's the only thing I kind of look at. I'm like, oh, let's change that just a little bit. Are there any red Warrior sticks? There's lots, I'm pretty sure. Maybe not. Maybe not. What about True? Any red True sticks? I don't think there's any red True sticks, actually, now that I think about it. So the yellow True Catalyst actually looks pretty good. And alright, that is pretty much it for Corey Brooks. Let's just see if he actually grows facial hair. Looks like it's going to be a goatee style. Okay, cool. Kind of looks like Morgan Wallen, actually. Oh yeah, it is absolutely, Corey Brooks is actually Morgan Wallen undercover. No, but not really, but I thought you guys might enjoy that. But yeah, he's actually got quite a few X factors too. Bouncer, no contests to come up, and truculence. Like, yeah, he's gonna be a great defenseman to have on this team, as far as he's just gonna beat the crap out of other teams' forwards, especially down in the corners. So yeah, Corey Brooks I think will be a great pairing with what's his name, with Kevin Korchinski here pretty soon. I do think Korchinski will start to develop into quite a good defenseman here. He's got the size, he's got the range, he's got the offensive ability. But that is it right now for our what do you call it? That's it right now for our rookies, and yeah, we're pretty much at the next season. Okay, I'm gonna take this trade. Reason being here, guys, is that the Jets are offering us 2 second-round picks in exchange for Dickinson, 3rd and a 4th next year, not even this year. So we'll do this Winnipeg trade here too, and then we should be at the next season. Okay, and the best part about the 4th round pick is it's not even our 4th round pick. So we'll make that trade, and that is it. We are at the next season now. Perfect. Okay, guys, so heading into the next season, here is how I'm here's what the lineup's looking like. I don't think this is exactly how we're going to set it up. It's going to be a little bit different than this, but not too far off. So I think the only other thing we might do is run something like that. Yeah, that would make sense. Go Kurashev on the top line for now. We can go Celebrini eventually, but I think playing Celebrini kind of like 2nd, 3rd line, somewhere around there for now makes more sense, as he is a depth forward and is just going to take a little bit more time to develop. We can give him the power play minutes to play. What do you call it? To play with guys like Kane and Bedard, but I think we leave Kane and Bedard as is for now with Kurashev, who's actually looking really good. So, yeah, everybody, around 5'10", 6 foot. Nobody's like crazy, huge, power forward kind of players yet. So that is something we'll look for in the upcoming draft. And, oh great, okay, Corey Brooks is a pinch and shoot defenseman, unfortunately, so we got 3 different types of defensemen in here now. Okay, that complicates things a little bit more, but really not a ton more, just a little bit more, so yeah, that's currently what we're looking at for lines. I think, well, yes, we have Bobrovsky starting, and Mrazeka's a backup. Actually, probably makes sense to keep them like that. Honestly, Kane and Bedard are fairly similar players. The only thing I was thinking Bedard might end up with tape to tape, because he is a very good passer. He's got 92 passing, which is one of his higher stats, but we'll see what he's going to end up with a zone ability at some point here, because of course Kane's got like puck on a string as the zone ability, so we'll see how that plays out, but let's just, kind of set up the power play here quickly. Makes sense to have Bedard on the opposite wing. Yeah, okay. Bedard's only got 75 face-offs in comparison to Celebrini's 80. We're also going to change Celebrini's number to 71, I believe, because that just makes the most sense to me right now, since what's his name? Since Nick Foligno's still wearing 17 for the Blackhawks currently, so that's one thing we'll change. You can run Vlasic on the 2nd power play unit, that also makes sense. Go Foligno at center there, and then swap Kurashev out for like Reichel probably. Of Korchinski's going to get a ton of play time with some really good players here. I'm quite looking forward to seeing how that pans out. Simply because there's just so many options and opportunities with the way we have this team set up currently. Yeah, okay. This is looking good. I'm really happy with how the lines are starting to shape up. I'm not super concerned about the PK. We could give up tons of penalty kill goals. So long as Bedard's not playing there, that's probably fine. Interesting 4-on-4 lines, but at the same time, they look pretty good. Got nothing against those. 4-on-4, or sorry, 3-on-3s are actually not looking too bad either. I just don't know why Vlasic doesn't get the number 2 or 3 spot behind Pesce and Korchinski in this scenario. Because he should. Extra attackers, Bedard and Kane almost makes sense. I think we actually do Bedard and Celebrini as our extra attackers because the only time they're on together is on the power play. So that actually makes sense. And then Taylor Radish somehow got Stickum up out of every X Factor, which, I mean, okay. He's got, what? Where's his stick checking? He's got 92 stick checking. Okay, that's pretty good. But he's a power forward as well. I didn't expect him to necessarily have like a stick him up kind of zone ability, right? So as far as goalies go in the system, this is the one area where I'm like, well, we probably should be playing Comesso or Soderblom or both up in the NHL. But at the same time, if they can dominate the AHL as goalies, then I've got nothing wrong with that. The only thing I think I'm going to switch around, we'll go Kaiser up, and then I guess, yeah, Crevier and King can have a below average kind of combo there. That's okay by me. And I'm not quite as concerned about how this playstyle gets set up. Obviously, we want Nazer and Moore to really just turn into good players because right now they're taking their sweet time with development, but that's okay because not every player is just immediately going to be a fantastic player. So let's take a quick peek at the draft class before we wrap this up because that could determine something. Yeah, okay, so Cody Blake is going to be ahead of Michael Misa. I'm pretty certain I have Michael Misa set as a high elite player in this roster, meaning that Blake is probably a franchise winger. So we'll see how that develops. I'm most interested out of this top 10 in Malcolm Spence because he's the biggest body out of all of these guys at 6'3". Apart from that, you could go with Roger McQueen too, but I like Spence as a potential option for this team. Maybe Kalle Gustafsson too. But I would love to get Malcolm Spence if we get the chance. So that is one of the goals here coming up. We'll see if that actually happens or not, if that actually pans out. Currently our picks sit, yeah, it says we're probably going to be around the 10th-ish pick or so. Just because, we've got Patty Kane, we've got a crazy good Connor Bedard. But yeah, that is where we're going to wrap this one up. So if you guys enjoyed this episode, make sure to go down below, drop a like, subscribe, hit notifications, and of course, feel free to leave your comments as to what we should do for this upcoming season. If, we trade away Patrick Kane, if we hold on to him for the whole year, if we trade away a bunch of pieces, like what do you guys think we should do? Or do we just wait until like deadline kind of time, or do we wait until the draft in 2 episodes from now? Like that's probably not a bad strategy, but there's lots of options for how we can play this. So that's going to be it for this one. If you guys enjoyed, again, show all your support down below, but that is it for me. I will see you guys all in the next one.